Hi, and welcome to part 2. This section's going to have painting in it. The first section was shading, so if you haven't seen part 1, you might want to go back and look for that because it's all the prep and shading of the doll. And this section is part 2. I mean, did I say that right? Yeah, this section is part 2. And it's going to be all the painting, and it may be really long, so I might have to break it into part 3, but I don't know yet because I haven't edited this part of the video. Anyway, it's great to see you here. I'm so grateful that you're here. I hope you're having a wonderful day, a perfect day, and I will see you on the flip side. Bye! Hi, and welcome to part 2. So, it's still morning here. I'm still drinking my coffee. I still have stories to tell, but it's time for painting. I already mixed up my paint over here. I'll put a list below of the colors that I used or stick them up in the content. I don't know exactly how I'll do it, but I will put down what I used. Most of it's golden paint. There's a little bit of craft paint in there, and there's some heavy body paint too. So I used a little mixture because that's the colors that I needed, and I have so much paint here. It's ridiculous how much paint I have, and it's never enough. It's never enough. So this girl has blood red lips, and she has yellow eyes. So I'm going to go straight on in and just get started. Now I have a new brush. I don't know if I mentioned it, but it's an Artist Loft Vienna 18, size 18/0, and I got it. I think it's the brand from, oh, there's a little hair on there. It's the brand from Michaels. It's Michaels. So you can see how, let me see if I can get the focus to go in on that. Let me put her down. Can you see that? If I put my, there we go. Look how tiny that brush is. But it's a little long, and for repainting I like it to be a little bit shorter. I also use this brush, and this brush is pretty beat up, if you can see. What is this? This is a round as well. I don't know what's 0000. Okay, and this one has been beat up, but it has like a little bend on the end, and that makes it easy to get into the curves. Hold on. Sorry. To get into the little nooks and crannies where you need like a little bend. And it happens from acrylic paint, which is really, really hard on brushes. Yeah. I'm so sorry. There we go. All right, so I'm going to start with, I think I'll just like fill in the yellow really quick here. And the yellow color that I'm using, and I said I was going to do it, I'll write it below, but I'm using Apple Barrel. Dang it. Hold on, I got a phone call. Okay, I had a phone call there, but I'm going to go back and, oh, did I say what color it was? It's Apple Barrel Banana. And I'm just going to fill in that bright yellow right now. I'm just going to fill the whole eye color in. And of course, like I said, I'm testing out this brush. So we'll see how quick it gets tossed to the side. I'm very picky about my brushes. Who isn't that paints? So, I can't tell yet. I'm on the fence. I don't know. I don't remember what story I was telling. I think in the last video I was talking about how I painted my first Jean Marshall, and she was Jessica, but she was supposed to be Rose from Titanic because I was obsessed with that. I'm coming in with some red Oxide on the side here to outline her. Yeah, this brush looks pretty good. It is golden matte fluid acrylic. I believe it's a matte fluid acrylic, but it's the red Oxide, and she's a vampire, so her eyes are going to be very unusual. So I'm just going to go ahead and outline the pupils. Anyhow, I felt like I met some positive reception with repainting, and I sold my first doll no time at all. So I was like, not that I'm motivated by money, but let's face it, if you're doing art, I guess instead of saying that you're motivated by money, I was motivated by the fact that somebody wanted my doll and was willing to pay money for it. I think for me, that was just such a, oh my gosh. Coffee. That was so important to me. I mean, it just meant the world to me that somebody was like, loved my art. I'm trying something new today. I'll mention it really quick. I'm trying I picked this up at Hobby Lobby. It's the Anita's extender, and it was very inexpensive. It's for adding open time and transparency to your paint. So I put a little bit on my palette here, and just to see how it works. So I will let you guys know how I feel about it and this brush, because you can pick the brush up at Michael's if it's worth it. I do like, it's almost too much. Okay, the pupil's getting out of hand. So we got to pull it back a little bit. Excuse me for the sniffles. Oh, well, Tiff. All right. You know, once something dries, that's it when it comes to acrylics. So, but that's okay. As long as you keep things really thin, you can go back and go over it. You just don't want to get bulky. Everything that you do, especially on a doll, has to be very thin and fine, so it doesn't get chunky, I guess is a good word, chunky. The brush is pretty nice, very sharp. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. I hope so, because I have to hold it at a weird angle. Maybe I could tilt her back like this for you guys a little bit. So the pupils don't look like much, but don't worry about it. I'll get there. Like I said, when you're watching me in a video that's a sped up, you're going to see it's so fast. It get corrected so fast. But here, yeah, this is the slow, painful truth of it. It takes time to get that looking right. All right, I'm looking at the picture, and it looks like she's got a little bit of red oxide possibly around the pupil. So I'm going to go in with that. Just a little bit. And then I want to sort of, oh, picture disappeared. Sort of wipe it down a little bit so it's not too much, while it's still blendable. Okay, there we go. The next color I see is, what color is this? Let me take a quick peek. Oh my gosh. I can't fit the red oxide back. This is raw sienna. It's kind of a golden color. So I'm going to come in with that dark golden color and start creating some dimension. Let's see, she's got some color here. Since I'm following a painting, it's not like a real person, so I don't know, it's a little bit more artistic, but I still want our eyes to look, you know, I want them to pop. So there we go. A little bit of that. I'm going to go back in with the banana, which is really, really pale. A little bit of banana. And over here, some banana. That's funny. Please see my repaint of my fierce vampire lady. She has banana colored eyes. All right. Oops. Sorry if I bounced that. So after Jessica and after, yeah, this brush is nice. I'm really liking it. It's probably because it's so brand new, but the long skinny is actually kind of working for me because I can get in there. I can get in there and get that line going. The black I'm using is Golden Acrylic Matte Fluid in Carbon Black, and it's about the blackest paint I've ever used. And I am enjoying the extender by Anita. It is actually a nice little additive. Now when I mixed up my paints in my palette, this time I skipped it. But when I mix it, I skipped putting it on. You know, I didn't film it because it's not sped up. There's no way you're going to want to watch me do that because that actually takes a few minutes. Coffee break. Can you see what I'm doing here? Let me see. I'll turn that way. I mixed everything up in the palette with Airbrush Medium, which helps kind of like loosen up the paint a little bit so it's not too thick. Some of my paints are a little bit older, some are newer. I use less for the craft paints because craft paints already have a lot of fillers in them. They're already a lot runnier and their pigment is not as strong. So I use less in that, and then in like a heavy body I'd use quite a bit. And I did use a heavy body. I don't even know if I'm going to use that paint yet, but I put it in the palette, so that's because it's new. That's a pinky color. I think it's Flesh, maybe. I can't remember what it's called. Let me look. Uh-oh, I'm bouncing. It's called... I bought this fleshy tone and a heavy body acrylic. What is your name? I don't see the name. Oh, it's Light Portrait Pink. It's right there. Light Portrait Pink. So I have that, and something like this in a tube, it's going to be a lot heavier than your fluids. So I have to add extra airbrush fluid into it. Okay, let's keep going. I think I'm going to hit the eyebrows now. And I'm really enjoying the Anitas for the way it makes the paint flow. I'm really, really liking that. I'm going to come up on the eyebrows and just get some excess off on my thumb. Make sure you can see. And I'm going to just look at how fine that brush is. We are friends, this brush and I. Really, really good friends. I think we might be the best of friends right now. Let's see how quick the paint disappears. Like, you only have a few seconds before you have to clean your brush and go back to your palette. And if you have a palette like I do right now, which is I put foil over the top of it so I can just throw that away when I'm done with it. But you can actually cover it and put it in the freezer, keep it for a couple of days. But I also put something cold underneath it so that the paint will last just a little bit longer for me. It's ice works like in a bowl. Oh, I didn't get anything. Did you see that? It was like, that was like a not happening. Ice in a bowl works, but it will make your palette kind of beat up with sweat, like, you know, cold sweat. But I've noticed that if I just put one of those cold packs underneath, that it doesn't beat up anything on my palette, but it still keeps the paint fresher. So that's good. All right. I need more. It's just, it's not quite enough. I don't know what happened. It dried out a little bit or something. So she has just like sort of soft, rounded eyebrows. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Watch out for that. She has soft, rounded eyebrows. And, they're not like super arched or anything in the picture. Just sort of delicate, but definitely black. And they don't have a lot of You really can't see the hairs in the picture because it's a painting. But I'm going to add the hairs in myself on mine. All right. Let's go ahead and do the other eyebrow while we're at it. I'm just going to turn her head over this way. Make sure I don't have too much paint on my brush. That is my best friend right now, this brush. So repainting became my obsession. And I was a cosmetologist and a makeup artist and an artist. So the whole thing just sort of seemed like it was the perfect fit for me. And that's weird. Bubbles. I made bubbles in my water. So since it was the perfect fit for me, I ran with it. And because there was so much passion, I think, a lot of people seemed to like what I was doing, which I was super, super grateful for. There weren't a lot of us either at the time. There weren't a lot of repaint artists, not for the 16-inch dolls. Not as much as some of the other kind of dolls. I also kind of like dabbled in sculpture. I really liked sculpture, and I realized, I think, you know why I don't sculpt very much? Figures. I mean, right now I'm super out of practice. I never really got great at it. I got okay at it. But, you know, if you spend a lot of time doing it, you would get better. Just like with anything artistic. If you keep, or anything really, if you just keep working at it, you will improve, you know, over time. So I know I probably could sculpt fine. I already had some minor success with it there, but I was afraid it's going to break. I don't know. I'm a chicken. But there's part of me that still kind of wants to do that. Like, I'm always wanting to do something artistic. As much as I love dolls, I love a lot of different art forms, and I like to express myself in a lot of different ways. So, that, I don't know if they're really where I want them to be yet, but they're good for now. I'll come back and work on them some more. All right. See, the thing with repainting too is it's such tiny, delicate work, and I have to stop and take a lot of little breaks and, you know, rest my eyes and drink some coffee. And get some more paint on my brush. It's a slow, delicate process that actually takes a lot of focus. Okay, I'm going to come back in with some more black, and we're going to go up underneath here. I'd say when you're repainting that less is better, because it's easier to add more than it is to take it away. Especially if you have sprayed her with Mr. Super Clear. If you've sprayed her, then you're not going to want to get your toothpick in there and start scratching away the surface, because you'll scratch right through all the layers. Sometimes if you do it really delicately, you can get that little paint off. Or if you go really fast, you can get it off before it dries. But with acrylic, it dries so fast that that's kind of hard to do. So, an eraser sometimes works. I have a pencil eraser. Not a pencil eraser like regular pencil, but it's like you can actually sharpen it. Sharpen the eraser. So her eyelids are not as big as Antoinette, so I'm going to kind of give the illusion of smaller eyelids. I don't know what I said before. I say eyeballs. I meant eyelids if I said eyeballs. I'm just going to take the black paint. And see the beauty of this now? I can still, I learned how to blend. I think it's really important if you're going to do this and you want to be really good at it, to kind of force yourself not to use the pastels. I know this sounds really silly, but if you are not very new, if you're very new at it, I would try to blend with paint and learn that skill, because it's important to have that in your arsenal. And then the pan pastels can accompany it. So if you don't have them, it's not like you have to. For me, I love them. They were a game changer for my how I am able to blend now more softly, which I think is important on a doll. It's almost like I just got some makeup for dolls. And I love that so much. But I do think you should learn the beauty of blending with paint, because it's not easy. And it should be learned. What I'll end up doing here too, to soften my edges, is I'm going to come back in again and add more pan pastel to the top of this to soften out my lines. So while I'm telling you not learn how to do the other thing, I don't even know what I'm saying. See, that's what happens when you paint. You just sort of babbling. Not time for eyelashes yet, but I'm tempted. Don't do the details before they need to be done, because you'll just end up redoing them. So, all right. What do I want to do next? I do want to outline a little bit with a little bit of black on those. Okay, I'm having a hard time getting in there. Come on. Calm down. I don't want a hard line. I just want a soft line around the iris. Just a tiny bit. Paint dries so fast. It's a very delicate, soft, tiny process. And I do think the extender is helping me keep the paint. Sometimes water can thin out acrylic too much, and then you lose something. But the extender here, I lost the shape there. The extender is helping me maintain the paint's integrity, I guess is the word, while still giving me good flow. All right, and so the black around her iris is a little bit darker than I want it to be, but I wanted to go ahead and add it in there because I wanted some definition. And then I'm going to go back with a little bit more red oxide on top of it. Let me just bury myself deep in here. Okay. All right. Okay. And then I'm going to go in, because the paint is still kind of wet, and just sort of brush away. I'm going to have to go back, add some more color to that, as I made them way too red now. All right, let's let that dry just a bit, and I'll go back in and add my yellows. I got too excited about the yellow. All right, you can see, I don't know if you can see in the camera, but the extender is giving off a little bit of a shine. That's okay, because I'm going to spray her with matte, but you can see how that is doing that. So if you don't have a spray, and you're not going to be using a spray, you can do a brush on, but I always find they have a little bit of a sheen to them. So keep that in mind, that you might come across with some shine on it. The matte fluid acrylics don't have any shine. Generally speaking, the craft paints don't either, but there's definitely shine in the heavy bodied acrylics. So if you caught all that, I'm going to go ahead and do her lips and let her eyes just sort of rest. Let me pick the one I want. I think this is a pre-mixed color. It's called lipstick red. As you can see, I invented my own color. I wanted a color I couldn't find, so I invented my own color, and I do recommend that you do that for things that you use a lot of. I want this to be like the dark part of the lips. So I'm going to start shaping those out. Oh, she's got such pretty color. The lips do. They're really dark around the edges. Oh, I think I have a little hair on the end of my brush. Alright, hold on just a second. I gotta check that. Don't want any little hairs on the end of my brush. Alright, where's my color? Where are you? Is this you? Oh gosh. I hate when I over dip my brush and it goes way past where it needs to. When you're painting, you don't want to overload your brush. Just a little tiny bit at a time. You can't even see the paint on this hardly. If you put too much on there, it's just going to be messy. And like I said, less is better. So keep it light. Don't fill. If you've never painted before, or you're really super new to this, like, see, look how thin my paint is. It's like, I wouldn't say watercolor, but I could say watercolor. You can't use watercolor though, because it'll wash right off. I wish you could use, I don't know how to say it, gouache, G-U-A-C-H-E, but it just rubs right off, so nope, cannot. Alright, let's get in here. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to put like a faint hint of teeth. There's no vampire teeth to this, but I'm thinking about adding, you can kind of see a shadow of her teeth in there. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do that or not. Right now we're just going to focus on getting the outline. And since I already kind of drew it out, it does really help me just to follow those lines. This brush is really nice, guys. I recommend it. I don't know how long it will last you, because I only just, it's brand new, so I don't know what its longevity is. But right now, generally speaking, acrylic paintbrushes don't last very long because acrylic is so hard on them. And I want to say to you, wash them after each use, get a, you know, really good cleaner, but I don't even do that really as much as I should. I should be better about it, but I'm not. All right, I have to pick. I think my next color is a heavy bodied color. It's I put too much, what's it called? Airbrush stuff in it. I can't remember the color. I'll look at it just a second. Yeah, it's very thin, and it's coming off with the undertone of Anita True Red. So I might have to get some, I don't know. See, look at, I did too much airbrush into that. And I'm not loving it anyway, so I'm sort of just wiping it away. Let me grab another color. This is Anita's True Red. And this is a craft paint. So I'm going to come back with Anita's True Red and go over that, because I was not digging the other one. So let's just even forget what color it was, because I'm not even going to use it. All right. Okay. Well, that's pretty, but I'm still feeling like, I'm never getting that true red that I'm looking for. It always feels like it has a little pink undertone. So I'm going to use the banana to mix with it, with the true red. A little tiny bit. And I'm going to come in here and give it some highlights. And the yellow should give me more of the red that I'm looking for. I say that like I'm just sort of just doing it on the fly. The problem with mixing the colors from craft paint is they're not true pigments. They have a lot of fillers. They're very fillered down, and so they're not true pigments. So mixing them is not always great. But you can do it a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty cool. It's hard to tell from me right now at this angle because she's, well, like I said, she's at a weird angle. So let me go in with that True Red by Anita's and fill in the bottom lip. And I'm going to go right over my other red concoction. I should make my own other red. I'm never happy. You'd be surprised how many reds I have. And they always come off pink to me. I haven't found one that I feel is like a true red. Well, not lately anyway. Or maybe I'm just being super picky. So, and this is called True Red. Like, for real? Alright, so I filled that in, and I want to go back in, and since it's still kind of wet, I'm going to go ahead and touch it with the yellow. The yellow kind of brings out more of a red to me. I don't do white, because it just comes across pink. That's something I can give you some advice on. If you're doing red and you want to just blend in a highlight, use yellow. And then after, when it dries, you can go back and do some touch-ups with white. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to go back with to the eyes and the banana color. I also use banana in the lips. And I'm going to try to brighten up these eyes again because I lost some detail. I'm just going to kind of almost dot it in, which can give it a little bit of a shape, texture to the eyes. Same thing over here. Pardon the sound of I'm sitting next to a freezer that's in my office, which I would like to move because I would have more space in here. This is such a nice color for what I'm looking for. The girl has a natural yellow eyes because she's a vampire, so this is like a perfect color. I have to rest just a second. I'm going to pause it because my arm is starting to kind of get sore, so I'm going to rest it. Hey, how about that? I just went right in with the cough anyway. Okay. I'm going to work on those lips some more. What was I? I was doing the eyes last. Oh, let me go back to those. I'm going to get the, I think it's a Sienna, raw Sienna, and a little bit of the banana and mix that together. And I want to come in here and kind of start smoothing out my edges. You've noticed I haven't even painted the whites of the eyes yet. We'll get to it. I'm just sort of focusing on this now, and if I get outside the eye lines, it doesn't really matter. Some more banana. I'm looking to the pictures, my reference, to see where I want to put so it will be more like the picture. And it's placed here and here in the photograph. Okay. And I feel like I could put a little bit of red oxide, just a tiny bit if I can keep it really thin. So that's the red oxide, which is more of like an orangey color. Oh, this is the one I wanted. I just want to get a little bit more of that around. See how that kind of helps my iris round out too? You could do it with different things. Sometimes I do it with white, depending on the eye color. But right now I'm focusing on the oddness of the eyes. Okay. So I can't really tell. I'm gonna have to pick her up and look at her up close. Looks like I went over here, but I'm gonna fix that right there. See, I went over with the banana a little bit. It seems like this happens to me a lot. I'm sure it happens to everybody. You go in and you do one color and then you gotta go take it off. And... Alright, they don't look like they match exactly yet, but I need to work on the whites of the eyes and then come back and do more work on the irises, because the focal point of the repaint generally is the eyes. The eyes have it. Those are what, well, these lips probably are drawing some attention too, but the eyes should really draw the attention to the repaint. So you want to keep on working it. It seems like it's, I wonder what the size is of that. It's like not even the size of your fingernail. It's so tiny. All right, stretching my arm out. All right, let's see, what do I want to do next? I want to go back. I need more dimension in the lips. Oh, I said I was going to do the whites of the eyes. Okay, so the eyes clearly in anybody's eyes are not pure white. But I am going to take pure white at first. Oops. I mixed it in the wrong color by accident. Hold on. I'm going to take some pure white. Try to find a clean part on my thumb. And just sort of clean up the edges of my irises. So I just want to kind of come in here. I'm not getting the flow I want. I don't know if you can feel that. It feels, the best way to describe it is it feels kind of tacky. Like it's not flowing, it's sticking. Let me get some more of the flow improver. Yeah, and when it sticks like that, you're not getting a good line, and it's such delicate, tiny work. Yep, gone already. It takes a lot of patience, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. You have to be patient. You can't rush this process, because if you do, it's going to get crazy. This is a very patient kind of work. Steady kind of work. Sometimes here I can tell, like, one eye feels like it's a little bit smaller than the other. This one feels bigger than this one. And this is where I might take the white, and I don't know if it's the dull sculpt or me, but you can kind of manipulate it a little bit with paint. Let me see, where's her highlight? Her highlight's over here. I'm going to go ahead and place it so I can lift the eye up a little bit and open it so that it matches the other one better. And it looks like this one has a bigger, well, this one doesn't look circly. This one does, but it looks smaller. So yeah, I've got some balancing to do. And the problem, one of the reasons why I'm having a problem is because it's the angle I'm working at. So generally speaking, I would just pick it up and put it right up next to my face, but because I am trying to get it on camera, I'm at a really odd angle. So forgive me for being a little slow on this one. Alright, so I don't want pure black, but I do want to keep that strong. Oh, that's not too bad. See, this one I'm really digging this one. Over here. Gotta take some of the edge off, but look at how pretty that is. I love that one. So let's see if I can't be happy with this one too. I am happy with the brush. It is giving me such pretty lines. Yeah, it's better. That's better, that's better, that's better. Let's get some, let me put it in right here, let's see here. Oh. Okay. That's pretty good. I need to stretch. Sorry, I'm having some issues with my left arm. It gets numb. After a while, my hand does. And I think I have a pinched nerve, or I'm sure it's the angle in which I'm holding the doll, especially since I'm filming. I went to the doctor for it last week, and they said they ran an EKG to make sure, you know, it wasn't the heart or anything like that. I was fine, but like right now, I can feel the numbness coming into my hand. So that's frustrating. The problem is while I'm filming, even when I'm painting normally, when I'm filming, I'm really leaning my weight onto this arm. And she loves my Fitbit. I'm leaning my weight into this arm and like leaning my body way over. So a lot of pressure is on my arm. And it's affecting either my shoulder or my forearm. I don't know. But it's making my hand numb. I kind of stop and stretch it here and there a little bit. I'm going to come back in to the eye and bring it out a little bit more. I want to round it out a bit more. Oh, I think we're getting somewhere. What do you think? Yeah, definitely. All right. Trying to decide if I'm going to use this brush for the... I'm not quite there yet. Hold on a second. Hold on. I want to draw this up a little bit higher. A little bit higher right there. Okay. I'll come back and check it again. But irises, as or the whites of the eyes, I'm going to look at this picture, are not pure white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with a little bit of black and white right now to start my blending. Let me get some of the flow improver. I'm using a little flesh tone in there too. Maybe I'll grab some of that pink. I'm just going to make my own concoction. And some of the extender, so I'll have some blending time. And I'm going to come in here and just start rounding out the eyeball. So there we go. All right. Take off that edge right there. I felt like there was a little bit there. See, I left a little white there to give it kind of a shine. This one lost it, but I'll come back and I can touch it up. I could probably do that right now. Give it just a little bit of a shine just at the curve. Dang it. That's why you got to be so steady, and you have to be quick because I don't want to lose my black curve there. It's going to take water and sort of wipe off that curve there. There we go. There we go. Okay. I think next I'm going to go in with my dark made up red, which is just a really dark. I added black to it, different reds. Get my extender. I don't want it to be too much. So it's almost like a pink. I'm going to come around here and just go to the bottom here and here. Fill in that part there. Okay, and I'm going to go in with a little bit more. I'm going to stick with the same color, but I'm adding some black to it. And I'm definitely adding extender so that I can get like a very sheer color. Don't want it to come out too dark. And I want to create a shadow underneath where the eyelid would make a natural shadow on the eye. So funny, I'm just realizing I'm just sitting here talking to myself. I know I'm talking to you guys, but I'm really just talking to myself. There's nobody here. It's funny. Okay. I feel like I want to add some yellow in there a little bit. Maybe some blue. So I'm going to take some extender, and I have some, I mixed some banana, some raw sienna, and some flesh tone in there, and I'm just going to kind of place that right in there on both sides. The white is just becoming too white. All right, gotta stretch that arm and get some blue because I don't have any blue in my palette. So I'm just going to pick. For blue, I'm going to pick Parrot Blue from Apple Barrel, and it doesn't matter. I use such a fraction of this, like a 1 drop, hardly anything, but any kind of light blue will be fine. You don't need this particular color. I just want to add the smallest minute amount to the eyes. Just a tiny, tiny bit. One seems so much smaller. I'm using a little bit of the extender so that it's thin and not too much blue pigment gets in there. I just want just a tiny bit. There we go. That one really understood what I was looking for. Yes. All right. Okay, I'm happy with that. I think I'm going to do some white dots in the eye for shine in the iris. I mean, in the whites of the eyes, just a little white dots. And that one's not even coming off. Nice. It dries up so fast. All right. Mix that right there. Just do a little. Oof. Oh, a hair got in my eye. Ah. That distracted me. Oh, that tickles. One of my hair got in my eye for a second. All right. So that came out way too bold because I got distracted, but it's still, especially with the extender, you can kind of just wipe that away. I still have a little bit there. I can put some here. Okay, hold on. I've got a hair that's giving me trouble. Got it. Got it. I'm going to go down here while I'm working with white. Use the extender to get it nice. And she has a shine on her lip. So I've got the white out, even though it's always out, but you know, I'm working with white. I'm going to give it a little bit of a, just a little bit of a shine. I'm going to go over that with color. Okay, am I happy? Okay, I'm going to go in with gray. And I'm going to use the one, I still have it still a little wet, add some extender to it. This is the color I mixed up for inside the eye on the whites, but I want to go along the line of the under eye just to give it fraction of dimension, just a tiny bit, and then I'm also going to place it underneath like that, just ever so slightly. And hers kind of go up like this and like this, just a little bit under the eye, just to give it some shape. Okay. She does have higher eyebrows, which is interesting. Let's see how it looks with her hair. Pretty good, pretty good. But her lips are way too light. So I'm going to take black and that color that I made for myself. So it needs just a little bit more depth. Some extender. And I'm going to build up more darkness over in this corner. And then I'm going to take the red really fast and then just blend that into the black so it looks like it's a natural progression from one color to the next. Same thing on the other side. Where's my color? I still have some? Nope, I gotta mix some more. So a little bit of the one that I made up with a tiny touch of black in it and some extender. Too much black. Too much paint in my brush. Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Alright, we're going to do the same thing over here. And then very quickly grab your red, your more pure red, and just blend that right into that other color so it has like a natural progression into the next color. Alright, and we have to do this to the top lip. Top lips are always going to be a little darker than bottom lips because they're just shadowed. I don't know why. I'm sure that there's a good reason, but I am really honestly just focusing on blending right now. But yes, they're usually a little bit darker. This in this this picture they are for sure. So she has some dark here that goes all the way over here. And I have my black and dark red thinned out enough that it just sort of progresses right into the other color. Alright. Now I can go ahead and take that bright red and put it back in there and blend those together, and I'm going to put that right over top of that shine. I'm not really done with that yet. I'm going to pause and rest my hand. Okay, now I'm going to go in and put some of the red in her eyes so that they stand out even more. This painting doesn't really have that, but I want to give her a little bit more red in her eyes. I just think it makes them pop more. And I'm going to draw that like right underneath, all the way across and into there. And then I'm going to come back with some white and just dot in some right there for the shine, right in there, right there, and right there. And this brush is really great for that because it's nice and pointy. Okay, I don't know if you've noticed. Oh, I'm going to stretch my legs. I don't know if you've noticed that I haven't even painted this part yet. I just worked all around it. But I'm going to. I'm going to go in and I'm going to get that light flesh tone, the heavy-bodied Liquitex. And I'm just going to kind of touch it up. My glasses are weird right now. They're giving me some trouble. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of place that in there. And then I'm looking at it and I'm thinking that that part is a little bit large. So I want to take some black and I want to tone it down a little bit with some of the other colors so it's not too black. Get some extender and just make a map on my hand. Come on up underneath and just like make that just a little bit smaller. Only so slightly. So I don't want it to disappear. It looks like I accidentally painted over it a tiny fraction on this side. There we go. Okay. Alright, that's a little bit better. Now I'm still going to come back. So I didn't quite get it exactly perfect. So I just need to get up there and get that. Alright. I haven't used any white in the eyes. The banana is so bright, it probably has some good white filler in it, but I'm still going to come back in and get some extender on that white. Well, I felt like I lost it. Let me get some more. There we go. That's better. Water it down. All right, let me look at those. I feel like I could go in here and do just a little bit more detail. So with the tip of this brush, I'm just going to kind of paint in some white details. Ever so slightly. And then I'm going to come back in with the darkest, the raw sienna, which is the dark, pure pigment, dark gold. And I'm going to just touch those edges a little bit. Just a tiny fraction of a bit. Just so there's no harsh lines. It's all very soft and kind of flows into each other. And then I'm going to go back in with the banana. And I'm going to touch it with that to get my highlight, my brightness. I'm not getting quite enough. Try some more. Right over top of that white. So it's really going to pop. That yellow is really going to stand out. So she's got that preternatural. Is that the word? Don't make fun of me. I don't know how to say some things. I'm going to give it. I'm picking it in this area because that's how it is in the picture. I need some flow stuff. And I want to put some up here at the top. I want to shadow underneath the white a little bit. All right, let's pull away and look. Yes, that's going really good. You know what I'd love to do right now? Eyelashes, but I can't. Not yet. To be patient. Those will be the last thing I do on the face because I'm going to go back in with some more Pan Pastel, and you know, what's the point of just covering up the eyelashes with more Pan Pastel? What did I grab before? Oh yeah, I wanted to round off those edges here, the corner, for good shading. Okay, come in here and drag that paint around and erase any mistakes. Okay, I think I need more black. I always need more black. I sort of want to work on the shape of her eye. I can't, that's more rounded, so let's get that to go up a little bit. Same thing over here. Whoa, that's okay. That is okay, you can just sort of drag it over. That's nice. You know what's really cool about the Mr. Super Clear is it kind of gives you a nice tooth, I guess would be the word you're looking for. To almost makes the paint sort of melt into it, which is really, really nice. Besides sealing it and protecting it and giving it its UV protection, non-yellowing and all that business, it also acts as a primer, I guess, because vinyl can be a little bit slippery to paint on. These dolls are very high quality, and their vinyl is amazing. But like a Barbie, and they're not all equal. Like the smaller dolls, some of them have better vinyl than others, but they all have a different feel to them. And this doll has a really nice feel. But I can tell you that the speaking has just been interrupted. I'm so sorry, guys. What's wrong with me? Where am I? I've disappeared. The Mr. Super Clear, thank you. It really helps, really a lot, to make the painting surface. It's like it just primes it beautifully. Okay. Wow. That seems messy. You know what the problem is? That brush is a little too pointy for that job. And I'm going to pick up my old one here. It's not as nice, so that I can kind of just blend. The other one is just really good for detail. This one is good for blending. Just getting in there and softening those edges and everything, because this one's a little bit older. But I really do want to give it some highlight right here, and I was losing it. That brush was not happening for this part of the job. Oh, I think there's a hair in there. That's not good. Really? This is real life, folks. I've got... Now, I don't use... I don't use paper towels for this very specific reason. Because... Oh, come on. Oh, I've messed up everything. Did I get it? There it is. Do you see it? Oh. I think I got it. Yes. I'm going to go back and touch that up. They leave off little fibers. And not about that life. No fibers. So I use... Well, this is a handkerchief, but I use stuff like this for my painting. Oh, I lost my picture. All right. I feel like I could do more dimension on her lips. So let me go back in with the yellow. So I'm going in with a banana yellow. And I'm going to just paint that right on top. Right there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of white and do the right on top of the yellow. And somebody needs some flow improver. No! Come on. Okay, I don't love the way this is looking, but don't worry. There's a method to my madness here. Like, wait, the lips already looked really good. Why did you do that? I have reasons. I know it looks bad. Don't worry. Don't worry. You'll see. You'll see. We're going to let that dry. And what else do I need to do? Oh, I know. How about some nostrils? Let's get up and underneath her nose and do some nostrils. I'm just going to fill them in, and then I'll move her up and take a look and see where. Well, that's not happening, is it? That is not happening. And I'm just doing this with brown. This is probably burnt umber. I'm gonna guess it's burnt umber. It does not look terrific. Let's get some shape to it now. So burnt umber, and now we're going to start building around it with a little bit more with the extender. Wow, that extender is really helping me today. That is no joke. All right, I'm going to take it and I'm just going to draw it like right there, so it gives a shape like the picture, but then I'm going to wipe it off. So it's only a tiny bit visible. And whoopsies. Clean that up. Oh, I feel like I'm kind of having like a spasm there. Calm down. So I want to give her like a little bit of a, let me get extender because I don't want it to be too dark. Sometimes I do this with paint, and sometimes I do it with pan pastel, and sometimes I do it with both. Today's probably going to be both. She's got like a shadow under her nose, so that's starting to look more like the girl. She has like really low like nostrils, like they come down like that. I'm gonna try to be clever and mark those off and then soften them with pan pastels. But her nostrils come down real low like that. Yeah, so they're like very low laying, and then they come around like that. I'm going to do that with paint. And then we will touch that with pan pastel to smooth it out. And I hope I did not make a mistake in this decision. You got to try stuff all the time. Okay, that yellow looks like it's dried. So I'm going to take the bright red from before, and I'm going to take a little extender to water it down like almost like a red gloss, and go right over top of it, so it gives me a little bit of brightness underneath. There we go. Which is sort of what I'm seeing in the picture. And there is actually a little bit of a shine up at the top of the lip too, like right around here. So I'm going to do the same thing and let that dry. And then we'll come back with that bright red again and cover it so that it's not like just a bright yellow blob. I actually think I could do just a little tiny bit more. This one is more understated than the bottom lip, but it's definitely there. Just want to give that lip like a shape. Okay, that's good. And we'll come back with that. All right, what's left to do other than the, gotta fix that with more shading. I see a lot of pan pastel work coming up in my future. So I'm just basically waiting for that yellow to dry. I'll go back over it with the red and some extender so it's not too thick. I waited long enough. I'm being impatient. Okay. Oh, it's time for pan pastels again, which means I have to put away my paints for the time being. I'll bring them back out. So I need to do probably more black eyeliner, eyelashes, touch up the eyebrows, hairline. So I'm going to go get my pan pastels.